Hi, I'm Jean Stowers, and today we're going to talk about suffixes. Previously, we had talked about a medical term and how it's made up of word roots, prefixes, combining vowels, and suffixes. So when we take a medical term and we break it down into parts, it will have a word root, a suffix, sometimes a prefix, and sometimes a combining vowel. But today we're going to focus on suffixes. Now, all your suffixes have a meaning, and you've been studying the meaning of those suffixes and how they apply to describe a procedure or a body part or something that's taken place within the body. So, when we look at terms, let's look at the term rhinorrhea and rhinitis. Now, when you study the respiratory system, you will learn that RHIN means nose. Okay, so this is referring to the nose. Our suffix in rhinorrhea is rhea, and rhea means a flow. So we have a runny nose. Our suffix in rhinitis is itis. So therefore we have an inflammation of the nasal lining in the nose. So rhinos stay the same. We're still in the nose area, but what has happened based on this suffix, this is what's taking place, what's going on. So rhinorrhea is my runny nose, rhinitis is my inflammation. So rhino didn't change, but what I now have is two medical terms with different meanings based on the suffix and how it relates to rhino. Now, when we talk about adding a suffix to a word root, we have to keep in mind our combining vowels. Combining vowels have three purposes. The first one is to join two word roots together. So if we go back to chapter 1, we can see where you could join two word roots. Also, combining vowels aid in the pronunciation of a term. And the third reason is when you're using a suffix, when you're adding a suffix to a word root, if the suffix starts with a consonant, we have the combining vowel. So, for instance, arthroscopy. ARTHR is our word root. Scopy is our suffix. Because scopy starts with a consonant, we are going to use a combining vowel. So anytime the suffix starts with a consonant, you use the combining vowel. When it starts with a vowel, you do not. So arthritis, our suffix is itis, so we do not use that combining vowel with arthritis. Again, arthro always means joint, but we have two new terms. We have arthroscopy and we have arthritis. An inflammation of the joint, and oscopy is the process of viewing the joint. So two new terms that are describing what is taking place. The last rule that goes with suffixes is definition. Defining a term. Anytime that you're defining a medical term, you always start with the suffix. So, for arthritis, itis is our suffix. We're going to define this as an inflammation of a joint. If we did arthroscopy, again, process of viewing, a visual exam of the joint. So definitions start with the suffix. Go back to the beginning. If there is a prefix, you would define the prefix next, then you would define the word root. Now, in most chapters of a text, when they talk about suffixes, they also talk about going from singular to plural. So, for instance, we have the word diagnosis. we want to make it plural, then we do diagnoses. So the IS becomes an ES. If we have thrombus, for instance, a US, we change that US to an I. So this now becomes, so a singular clot, thrombo means clot, a singular clot is US, a thrombus. If we have more than one clot, then we have thrombi. That US becomes an I. The same way with our diagnosis, as here. Our diagnosis is an IS if it's singular, and if it's plural, it goes to an ES. So those are two of the rules in reference from singular to plural. So these are some basic rules for suffixes and applying suffixes to a medical term and defining them when you use the combining vowel and going from singular to plural. Thank you.